Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Make It College Come True radio show brought to you by Tucson International Academy. That is the K through 12 charter schools around this fair city of Tucson that is making college come true for students for over a decade.
Yes.
Yes. And I'm Pastor John McClain, and with me, I have my favorite part of the show, the superintendent of Tucson International Academy, a former Tucson Unified School District educator, the author of the book, Making College Come True, 10 Keys to Success, and still the newest talk radio show host in the fair city of Tucson, Dr. Jennifer Herrera.
There we go.
Dr. J in the house.
Wild.
Whoop, whoop. And our guest in studio today is a stranger, someone we've never met before, never seen this face, or he's my co-host on the Common Good radio show, and his name is Andreas Ruiz with I Believe in Myself Coaching.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. Really excited, and I love the song that you have for the intro.
Yeah, it's irony.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's good. It's good. That's all
We're
I can say.
glad when school's out. Let me tell you. The kids may be happy, but we who work there are even happier.
Yeah.
Sometimes they look offended when we say, "Oh, I can't wait to go out either," and they're like, "You don't want to see us?" We're like, "Oh, no, we'd love to see you, but." Yeah.
Well, and I feel like it's been forever since we've had you on the show.
It is.
Yeah. It has
like
been a
months
while.
even, I feel
Yeah,
like.
it's been months.
You're
for
just
sure.
such a busy man, coaching and speaking. You ain't got time for us anymore, huh? For the little people.
I know. We're going to have to schedule ahead, like weeks ahead.
Maybe months even. I don't know.
Yes.
What is your time like? But for those who don't know, I met Dr. J through Andreas, and Andreas met Dr. J through Toastmasters.
Yeah.
And since they met at Toastmasters, and actually, in a lot of ways, I mean, I guess I'll let you tell the story of how, in a lot of ways, Dr. J inspired what you do today. And in a lot of ways, if she didn't say to you, hey, can you do that for me? You may have never, had the confidence to get over that hill. So I guess, tell us that story.
Yeah. So I remember when I first met her, she told her, gave her speech about the billboard, that you're a walking billboard. You remember that?
Yep. Your life's a walking billboard.
Yeah. Your life's a walking billboard. So that's just how powerful it is when you hear a very powerful speech and I say, wow, this one was really cool. I really liked her speech. And I went up to her and I just was talking to her about how, wow, like I really liked your speech. And it was really inspiring how we are all a walking billboard. And it really just, at that time, I was still growing. I was still learning how to be a better person, and just listening to her and being around people like her made me a better person. And then I started, and she asked me, so what do you do? And, I said, oh, what I do, I'm a motivational speaker. And, I mean, I never really spoke. I spoke at for free at some schools, but then she's like, oh, really? I have a school, and maybe we could have you. How much do you charge? And that's when I said, what? Like, she wants to pay me? I don't know. And I just told her a price, and then she said, oh, really? Oh, that's really cheap. Like, okay, I'll have you. I'm like, oh, really? That's cheap, man? Damn. Like,
wait, did I say that?
Yeah, no. And then she told me, she's like, yeah, like, let's have you. And then I spoke to her school, and the kids really enjoyed it. And then from there, it just kept growing. The relationship, just we would, I would go speak to her students, and then I don't know, we've known each other for quite some time now. I think
it's been a few
4
years.
or 5 years, maybe. It's crazy. I can't believe how long we've known each other.
I know.
And then just recently with COVID, just another opportunity came where I was able to coach her school, which I'm still coaching. I'm still coaching her teachers, and I'm really proud of her teachers. How they're really, the ones that I am coaching, they're really improving.
Yes, they are.
Emotionally, mentally, and in every way. I just have seen so much growth in them, and I'm really proud of them. Just how they're overcoming fears and just overcoming any mental barriers. And so that's kind of how we met, and it's been really cool to now be able to connect all of us together. And then especially with like Entrepreneurship Academy and all this stuff that we're doing, it's just really cool to be around people who inspire you and who are go-getters.
Likewise. I mean, and to spot one, I mean, like to spot you guys, again, this is like a weird thing for me, but I always forget that I'm quite a bit older than you guys. And I think I still forget it every day. Like even now, I don't really feel it or think it.
Good.
Yeah,
But,
us either, if it makes you feel any
weird.
better. Yeah. Granted, I think both Andreas and I both feel a little older than we are, and
Yeah,
you
you have
look
a lot of
younger than you
experience.
are.
Oh, well,
so,
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, yeah.
I get you a lot of stars.
And you know what, you do have that energy because it doesn't matter how old you are. What matters is just that you have that inspiration from the people around you and from yourself. And that's why I think when we're in the room, age doesn't even matter, because honestly, we have more energy than some teenagers, honestly.
Yes, I think
You know what I
so
mean?
No
too.
more
serious.
quoting R. Kelly, though, okay?
Yep.
No, but I'm serious. We do have more energy than a lot of people that are way younger than us. We feel younger than everybody because you've seen people like Bob Proctor, these older guys that are 90 years old and they're still going up the stage like almost running. I'm like, man, look at this guy.
I
Just
don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
And
crazy.
actually, something I'd love to hear from you, Dr. J, is like, what impact has Andreas had on your teachers, your students, your just like your overall school? Can I I guess go into detail for us for that? Because I don't think we've
happy
talked
to.
about it at all.
And this is what I like about having charter schools. Like I have the ability to bring in someone that I see that's just going to be a perfect fit. And so what I saw with Andres was I saw someone who was going above and beyond in Toastmasters. That's where I first saw him. And I thought, who is this young guy? And he was with Randy, another young guy. And I got to know both of them after they were the MCs for a contest.
Oh, yeah.
But they went above and beyond. And man, these days, I'm sorry, but I don't see people go above and beyond really for anything. In fact, it's the opposite. Oh, well, here we're going to give you the product, but you got to download it, you got to print it yourself, and you might as well have it all bound yourself as well. It's like, really? That's not even a service. And so to see people really go that extra mile, that is what spotted, made me more interested to hear what they had to say and to get to know them. And then with Andres, he had this whole plan, like for his life to reflect that kind of level of living. And I thought, oh man, the kids need this. And I will say that I thought, well, he's closer to their age than me, so they would relate to him better. Then he got into the whole, I believe in myself. And he told me that that's the name of his company. I was like, what? Because we just got done having a meeting in our leadership meeting we have every week. And we said, what is it that the kids really need? And we said, they need someone who can believe in them. And we said, well, we are that for them. And we believe in them, but we are their teachers too. So I don't know how legitimate that kind of serves that purpose. And at that meeting, somebody said, we need to teach them how to just believe in themselves. Because all your life, that's what happens. If you're waiting for someone to believe in you, that you're going to, do well as a parent or do well at your work, or, you may be waiting a long time because people may think it, but they don't always think to say it. And there's just such a interpretation of compliments because there's so many that are given that aren't sincere. So it's not very powerful. So in the end, if you're going to do something new or you want to do something well, you really have to just trust and believe in yourself. I have what it takes. If they can do it, I can certainly do it. What's the difference? I mean, I'm just like them. I'm a human. I have ambition. I have focus. I have a desire to serve and to give. And so why not me? You start asking it the other way around. Why me? Why not me?
Oh, I like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Good
Well, we'll talk about all that and more with Andreas Ruiz with I Believe in Myself Coaching after this break. This is the Making College Come True radio show brought to you by Tucson International Academy. One of my favorite things Andreas says is, if you can hold it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. So what are you visualizing today to make happen tomorrow? We'll be right back.
We now return to the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy.
Hello, you amazing, marvelous, educated, scholarly individuals. This is the Making College Come True radio show brought to you by Tucson International Academy. I'm Pastor John McClain here with the one and only Dr. Jennifer Herrera, also known as Dr. J.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
Yay.
in the house. And then also my partner in crime in most occasions, Mr. Andreas Ruiz, with I Believe in Myself Coaching, here to motivate us.
Yeah, right.
Motivate me, Andreas.
do
Motivate me.
Get out there. Get out there and be somebody.
Yeah,
That's right.
and we were touching on a lot of the great stuff that Andreas does with, I believe, myself, as well as what he's been doing with Tucson International Academy and the way that he's helped, transform those students, the way he's helped transform that staff, and definitely those that are out there, whether you have a small or large business, a small or large group, and you need motivation in your life, you need some inspiration, you need people to believe in themselves. Andreas Ruiz is the guy to call.
Yes, he is.
And
yes.
but we were also in the break, we were talking about with Tucson International Academy, a big part of Tucson International Academy is entrepreneurship. So tell us more about that, Dr. J.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love entrepreneurship. So for me, I was raised with a bunch of entrepreneurs. My grandpa started an insurance company. My other grandma on my other side of the family ran actually a mentally ill facility.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
And my grandma, back with the guy who ran the insurance company, also started a gas station, the first gas station in our town.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
she...
So you're like a celebrity where you come from is pretty much what you're saying.
With the older crowd,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
The youngers, no, not so much. And then the other one is that grandma did go to college. So like they all went to college, and that's a long time ago. That's like they were born in 1901 and 1899. I mean, that's the range for those grandparents that I had.
Wow.
So they were movers and shakers, especially for that era. And they went through the Depression era, and they still had houses, and they maintained things. They worked hard. They were hard workers, and they were good people. So what I liked about that is that they were not afraid. They could see a need. The car has been introduced. It's a new invention. It's on the road. Oh, it takes gas. So how do they get gas? Oh, well, we could have a gas station. And how basic. I mean, today we're like, yeah, of course. But no, think about it from their era. I mean, just was like, revolutionary, and it was controversial. Oh, those cars are going to run the horse and buggies off the road. That's not right, and a lot of conflicting views.
Crazy.
And my grandparents grew up. When I grew up, they were telling us those stories. So entrepreneurship has always been a part of my life. My dad started businesses all the time, insurance and other kinds of financial services and things like that.
Nice.
And my he also had a farm, that someone else farmed, but he oversaw it. He oversaw someone else's farm. I mean, he just did a lot of things. My mom was a teacher. My mom was always on committees, and she always had a grant that she wrote, that she was one of the people before she retired as a teacher. She wrote a grant for one of the first full day kindergartens. Because back in the day, it was a half-day program. Now it's full day everywhere, but back then it wasn't. And so I have mover and shaker parents. So, of course, I'm going to maybe think a little different. Both of my brothers have had multiple businesses. They've sold cars. They've sold insurance. They've sold financial products. They've sold, everything. And they, to this day, could easily resurrect a business of any kind, because they know what it takes. And for me, opening schools was really fun, because I saw a lot of holes in education, and I was like, wow, if I could just have a private school, but I don't want to chase people for money. Oh, then you found charter schools where the state will make a contract and they will pay for it, but you have to follow their guidelines. And I thought, I can do that. So that's how I got involved in it. So then, because of all my experiences, and I saw the Hispanic community of my school, because they're 88% Hispanic, man, I never saw so many entrepreneurs, but they don't call themselves entrepreneurs. They don't call themselves anything. They don't even give value to themselves. It's kind of like, I'm just trying to make ends meet. No, you're an entrepreneur, and so they were like, Valentine's Day, do you see all those people on the street corners selling things? They're probably from my school. I'm just, and the parents are that way. So I've attracted parents who were bringing their kids that are all kind of like-minded. So, business building and making money has always been a part of their lives. I think someone's always selling jewelry. Someone's always selling, and it's not just any old jewelry. It's jewelry from Mexico, the silver from Tosco. It's just really good stuff. And they have services. I know all of my employees mostly have some sort of side business going.
That's cool.
As long as it doesn't, take away from our school, they're allowed to have that. And I just love watching that. So entrepreneurship is alive and well at Tucson International Academy.
That's really cool. And you know what I love about it, is that it all started with your grandparents. You know what I mean? And
basically,
it's so interesting how not only did you pass it on to your family, but then you also pass it on to all these people. So just think about the impact that your family is making on so many lives. And, if you just start to think about like, wow, my grandparents, they did that. Had it not been for them, you wouldn't be doing what you're doing. So like,
It's true.
what do you think were like the top 3 things that you saw from them that really inspired you to become an entrepreneur yourself, like to do your own thing?
Well, I think one thing was the ability to observe. Sometimes people just live life and they're just in a rut and they're just going along with the crowd and they don't have time to think or move or anything. My grandparents, my parents, and most of my relatives, to be honest, just have stepped back and they look and they say, what could we do to make this better? I think it was their questioning technique for themselves.
Yes.
And the questions were like entertainment for them. Like it's still entertaining to me even too. It's like, ooh, what could we do with our entrepreneur business program? How fun could that be? I mean, even the thing we 3 are doing together, it's exciting. It's just fun and it's meeting a need. And we only had one. It's like,
you know what I like about that is because your grandparents, they're smart because they got clarity. Like Tony Robbins says, they actually sat back and got clarity instead of just taking the action. Of course, you have to take some imperfect action, but you also have to step back and say, okay, where's there a need? And it was gas. I mean, obviously, it was a no-brainer, but a lot of people were not thinking with their brains. And that's what Earl Nightingale says. He's like, many people just don't think. And your grandparents, they thought. And that's what differentiated them from the rest of the mass, because they thought. And how many people actually think?
I don't think that many do these days.
And I mean, it's not to like put people down or anything like that, but because I used to be one of those people that would just go get out of work, and then go watch TV for 4 to 5 hours when I wasn't even thinking for myself. I was letting the TV think for me, So your grandparents, they thought. And that's why I say, whatever you can hold here, you can hold here, because
I love
you
that
actually
saying.
think. You think. You don't. A lot of people don't think, unfortunately. That's why a lot of people don't create. And that's what we're doing with Entrepreneurship Academy. We're helping people think.
Yes.
Because people don't think. And I even had a presentation with this woman that she stood up and she said, oh my God, like, this is the first time I ever speak about my dream. And I've been holding this dream for 20 years in my head. And she cried. Imagine.
That's wonderful, though. I'm so glad you finally helped her realize, I do have this dream.
Yes. and that's what I think we're really doing with Entrepreneurship Academy is we're helping people think at the end of the day, because it all starts with thought. And then, of course, you put the plan of action together. And then that's what we're doing. We're just asking the questions, like John was asking the questions that are amazing with, where's your zone of genius? You're asking them, what's your purpose? Where's the action? Like, what's the why? Where's the why? And I just help them, like, just say, what do you want to create? Speak it right now. Speak it into existence, because if you never speak, it'll never happen. So it's like those people without a vision, they'll perish. They'll perish by going to drugs, alcohol, doing all of these reckless things. And that's why people perish, because they don't have a vision. And I think it says in the Bible, I heard it from Earl Nightingale, but I think it's in the Bible, without a vision, the people will perish.
It's a Bible verse. You got one memorized.
And that's the thing. With motivation, I think I've learned the Bible with just listening to all these motivational stuff.
They're principles, right?
Yeah,
they're
they are
principles of life.
And that's what we're doing. We're bringing principles to people through Entrepreneurship Academy.
I love that.
Stuff.
Well, thank you, Andreas, for joining us, brother.
I love this.
Yeah, that's Andreas Ruiz. Self-coaching. Go to IBelieveMyself.org to sign up with him.
That's right.
Yeah. We'll be back right after this break. This is the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy. And I'll be right back.
We now return to the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy.
Hello, everybody, all you beautiful 10:30 a.m. listeners. Welcome to the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy. I am Pastor John McClain, here with Dr. Jennifer Herrera of the Herrera clan.
Yay!
Yeah, also known as Dr. J, not to be confused with the Philadelphia basketball players of the 60s.
Although I'll take that affiliation.
Yeah, for sure.
I can jump.
Is that Dr. J? Yeah.
I love basketball.
So before we left, the theme of today's show is entrepreneurship. We were talking about some of the, kind of Dr. J's entrepreneurial background and how from even before 1900s inspiration has found her over 100 years now to inspiring others to do entrepreneurship. Tell us a little bit more. I know you're involved with Junior Achievement. and there's a kind of a, an entrepreneurship element involved with that. Tell us more about that.
Yeah, Junior Achievement, wow, they're a real find. When I started my charter school 20 years ago, I heard about them, and I said, oh my gosh, this is like learning put to action, like a simulation. So they have like a bunch of, well, at least 2 ways that I know of so far, where they help kids simulate what it's like to be in the workforce. And you can enter that workforce in a number of ways. You can enter it from a fun, like a job that you incredibly love, and you can enter it in a job that just pays the bills or meets, ends and is less fulfilling, but it is substantial. Like, how do you substantiate that? And so with JA, Junior Achievement is a nonprofit organization. It's solely run by volunteers. They have like a paid staff, but it's minimal. And they work really hard because they're very dedicated. And I do happen to be on their board now. They asked me to be on their board. And I love serving on that board because it is just, everyone is so excited for what they can bring to the schools. And of course, I'm an educator, so I love that. So, and my school is involved with them, and they are getting ready to do a stock market simulation. They call it Stock Market Challenge Day. And so there will be a teams created from schools all over Arizona. And they will have virtually, we will have like a ticker, like the stock market saying this stock went up. Oh, this is a news thing that came out. Okay, now that stock crashed. Oh no, now it was thrown out of course, and now it's back up. And it's just very fast. It's very
is it in line with the actual market?
Yeah.
Or okay,
that's how they do it. Yeah. And I'm not sure exactly how that works, but get this, they're going to train our students, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, and they will be trained by businessmen who are from Morgan Stanley or Stanley Morgan. I always get them turned around.
One or the other.
One of those financial institutions, and from other ones as well, and from I think a banker and then 2 financial organizations, and they will meet with the kids virtually by Zoom, and they will give them the training for 45 minutes on November 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. So 3 days in a row, my 10th, 11th, and 12th graders will have a training about stocks and what it is and how it works, because stocks are a little mystical. It's not like gambling where you're putting a bet on something, yet it can be reduced to that if you are doing it uninformed and uneducated. So it's like it's a good thing to do, because you don't want to mess around and then lose everything because you really didn't have a basis of how it really works. So I think it's going to be exciting. It's a challenge, and then they will have like a state winner, and we, having 4 high schools, are going to compete against ourselves. So the 4 high schools will compete against each other.
That's super cool.
And just see what they can do, and it's just for fun. It is not life and death. It's not for blood, It's just for fun, and that's what I like. It's a new skill.
That's awesome. I mean, just it's so awesome. It almost seems like a foreign concept. This, not only this challenge, but learning stocks. Like I'm just learning stocks myself, probably within the past 3 to 5 years, and I've got myself a little Ford, a little American Airlines, some of the goodies back when they were at a low. But I'm just kind of learning as I go, and I'm still kind of getting my sea legs. So just to think, if I would have had the opportunity in 10th grade to learn this stuff, where would I be today? And, how would my stock portfolio look today? Yeah. That's super awesome.
And things do change over the decades. My parents, again, did have just a minor involvement in investing in that way. So I got to watch them make their decisions. They were always very conservative. So I never saw a downside really to it. And then when they passed on and I had control of it, I just did what they did, because I thought, well, it sustained them. So I don't want to blow everything up. So I just did what they did, and it served us well. It really helped in a number of ways to be able to start TIA. That was really the legacy that stock that I got to have helped me with that.
It's all full circle.
It sure is. Circle. I mean, I still don't really understand it. Like the other day, I looked at a stock paper that came in. It said that it was worth $15,000. I was like, wow, that's great. I didn't know it was up to that high, because my parents bought a stock, and then they would click a button that said reinvest any earnings. And so that one I had so many years that it got to that level. And I don't know
Nice.
what it was when they started because I was just probably a baby.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that came in. Then I saw like last week it said that it was only worth like $400. I was like, what happened? 15,000 to 400, but that's because things that are happening in our market right
Yeah.
now, and I don't know why. So,
Yeah,
so I think it's
wild.
important to learn, right?
Mhm.
That stock for me is just something that is, I don't depend on it, and that's
Mhm.
I think the thing we have to teach the kids is you
Yeah.
got to be careful what you depend on. You do
Mhm.
need to have a day job,
Yeah.
and this is just extra. So.
Mhm.
I think that will be a point that will come out, but we'll find out. I'll be able to tell about it here in about 2 weeks
I know,
how
I'm
it went.
excited. Yeah,
Oh,
teach me something, please.
Yeah, you bet. It'll be fun.
Mhm.
And so, yep, I'm looking forward to that. JA also has this thing where they call it Business Biz Day or Biz Town.
Okay.
And they have like fronts for businesses. And like I went up to see it and tour it.
Mhm.
And they had a front for like a Wells Fargo. They had a front for like a Schlotsky's
Deli.
food. Yep.
Uh-huh.
And they had a front for actually the Diamondback Stadium.
Nice.
And it was all Diamondbacks themed, and it was really cute. They had like even a sample of the bleacher, not the bleachers, but the the stadium seating
Mhm.
was in there, and the kids can sit there and
Hmm.
they can, I don't know, they have a simulation for everything. So it's just really neat. And so the kids have to apply for jobs.
Ah.
And a kid applied for a job there, and he was a 12-year-old, and he was in the bank manager. And
Nice.
he had tellers, and the tellers called in sick
Hmm.
because actually they were playing at a game that was at one of the other businesses. And he
Uh-huh.
said, you have to be here because we can't go forward, and I'm going to get in trouble if you don't come. And he couldn't motivate them to come back. And he's like, what do I do? He was so distressed. And he said, why do people say they will work and then they don't show up? I thought, story of my life, kid. It's
Yeah.
like-
Welcome to the real world,
Yeah.
buddy. Get to work.
Exactly. And he was just so like blown away. So look at the
Yeah.
lessons they can learn.
Absolutely. Well, we'll talk about JA and TIA and plenty more after this break. This is the Making College Come True radio show brought to you by Tucson International Academy. I'm Pastor John McClain here with the superintendent of Tucson International Academy, Dr. Jennifer Herrera. We'll be right back.
We now return to the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy.
Hello, everybody. Hold on tight. We got one more amazing segment of the Making College Come True radio show brought to you by Tucson International Academy. I'm Pastor John McClain here with that's Doctor with the D, Jennifer Herrera.
Yay.
Yeah,
Woo. We can
yeah.
do doctora.
Doctora.
Doctora Herrera. Goes with my last name better.
Yeah.
Doctor.
Absolutely. Yes. Inspiration to the people.
Yes.
Thank you. So before we went to the break, we were talking about JA Junior Achievement. It is a group that is partnered with Tucson International Academy, and it's I want to think in a lot of ways adds on to what you guys do. We were talking about before the Biz Town
Yeah,
that they
Biz
have,
Town. Mhm.
and then they also doing a challenge for teaching kids stocks,
I
which
know,
is
I
super
love it.
awesome. But I was going to tell you during the break in BizTown, it sounds super familiar because when I was in elementary school in Orlando, Florida, in 5th grade, we had this program that we did every Friday. All the 5th graders, all pretty much for half the day, we didn't even go to class. We just went to our jobs.
Oh, I like it.
And the way the program worked is all the 5th graders got different jobs. There was a post office, there was a bank, there was a mall, like little mini mall. There were, just kind of like an array of different businesses. And everybody got their job. I initially started in the program at the post office. And when I worked at the post office, I created this little activity sheet, much like our Common Good News that that kids got whenever they bought some stamps, and I got Employee of the Month for making that. Yeah, and then after working at the post office, I worked at the mall, and I owned a business at the mall, and that's actually, and at 10 years old when I learned the value of entrepreneurship, because at the post office, for the sake of numbers, let's just say I made $100 a week. Owning my own business at the mall, I made like
Oh
$10,000.
my gosh,
Yeah.
that is amazing.
Yeah, it was
I
wild.
wish I knew what program that was. Boy, I would take that in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
That is so cool. That's my mom, again, Miss Entrepreneur herself, even though she didn't know it. She actually wrote a grant again for economics program, and the economics program she wrote it for had every classroom had to create a business, and that business they ran it on their week. And for kindergarten, she taught kindergarten. She had to make pizza, so they had it like an assembly line, which I worked at a pizza place. I didn't exactly how it works, but it was kind of cute for the kinders. And someone started with the dough, and then the next one put the spoonful of sauce, and then the next one put the cheese, and the next one put the olives or whatever, and the different meats and stuff. And then the other ones, like an adult was with, they put it into an oven. And it was just such a cool program. I'm like, oh my God, kindergartners understand how to make stuff and how to work. And they would wear little aprons and little hats, and their hair had to be back.
Cute.
And
Sounds so
I
cute.
know. It's like, what? I want to do that. So
Yeah.
it's like, wow, I hope we can do that, something like that at TIA. It does take extra time. It does take extra focus, and it helps if you have experienced teachers. And right now it's so hard to get a teacher, period, let alone someone who's actually taught for a number of years. So I just tell people, and I'll put a little spiel in for it right now, if you want to contribute at the highest level and you are willing to put time in, you should consider being a teacher, because it doesn't matter your academic level. We can find a program to get you certified.
Yeah.
But if you have any desire, but the thing is, you have to be willing to work hard. I mean, I have people who have the desire to teach, but they think teaching is you show up and you talk at the kids and you leave. That is not how teaching works. You have to stay there. You have to make sure that they're understanding what you're saying and change how you say it so they do understand it even better, and have interesting activities to make it fun. And I don't know what's happened. We just think everything should just be instant. Well, I said it, therefore they should just know it. Was that how it works for you?
Yeah.
You know, I'm telling you how to teach and you're not listening. So it's like,
that's interesting
that's,
you say that. I think I've actually been listening in regards to that, because my 4-year-old, whenever I read him a book, I read him a bedtime story every night. And when I read him the story, I always like change my voice and take on little
Yes.
characters and do little things like that, because
that's cool.
otherwise, if I just read it like, oh, then now Tim walked down the street and he did this, and then he shot the bow and arrow, and then he did this. Like, he would just be like, I want to read it, give it to me. But when I go, then Tim went down the street and he ran, and then Timmy said, hey guys, I'm ready to play, and do that type of stuff, and he just loves
they're
it.
glued,
And then when
right?
it's funny when he reads the story to me, he's like, hey, I'm gonna read to you. Okay, you read to me. He's like, and then the guy went, oh, what would do this? And then- yeah, so yeah, that's
You should be a teacher, John.
Oh, no,
Gee,
what?
John.
yeah. Well, actually,
Just saying.
just to throw an extra, add to Tucson International Academy, definitely those people that are out there, whether you're considering being a teacher or you are a teacher and you're looking for a good home, that's what I've heard about Tucson International Academy. I've heard it's family, definitely everybody who's, whether they've been administration or staff, they eventually become a teacher and end up ingrained in the place in some way or the other. So
Yeah, if they can push through, when you first are starting a new career, you are not going to be the best at it. And if you think you are, and then you're offended every time someone tries to help you take that next step up, it's not the profession for you. Right now, I have a great group of teachers. But over the years, it took me a while to find the right teachers, because they're so not understanding how important it is that you learn how to directly speak into the lives of kids. And it isn't like just having a conversation, and it isn't just showing a bunch of videos. That's not teaching. So it's like, if they're seriously wanting to make a difference and are teachable, boy, we are definitely the school. And everyone at our schools works hard. And the ones that don't, can't push through for whatever reason, I'm not saying they're bad or anything, and I'm not saying we're the perfect place to work. We're not. But at the same time, if you can't push through, then probably just don't come. It's like you need to make a good 2 to 3 year commitment before you give up on something. That's my advice.
Yeah. Well, awesome. And so let's jump back. We got about 5 minutes to play with our most recent event we did. We talked about it on the Common Good Radio Show. We haven't talked about it here yet. We yesterday we just held the 3 simple steps to starting a business in our business workshop series that we're doing at the Arizona Sands Club. And it was just, let me just start with such a blessing to be
Oh,
able
yeah.
to host our workshops there. If you haven't
Oh,
been
yeah.
to the Arizona Sands
Big time.
Club, people out there, check it out. Arizona Sands Club, Google it. I'm not going to give you any more information than that. It's inside the Arizona University of Arizona Stadium. It's a beautiful little dinner club, and Dr. J. Andreas and I got the good fortune to be able to host a workshop series the fourth Sunday of or fourth Wednesday of every month there. And I guess, give your take on, how it went,
Oh, man.
what we taught
Jeez.
people, what we learned, the whole shebang and bang.
It was so much fun, and it was fun because my personal beliefs are that small business makes the world go round. And you can see that in any even third world country when people open up the window from their living room and turn it into a little store. And I just think that big stores have their place. I mean, I order from Amazon, I order from big places, but small places do too.
Yeah.
And I think you need both. It's not a either or, and it certainly shouldn't be dominated or directed or harmed or impacted by government. I think there's a place for both. And so what I liked was these ideas that the people that came to the seminar, there were about 10, they had ideas, and they had really not thought it through. And we got the pleasure of helping them connect why maybe they had that idea with, Andres giving his motivational perspective, hey, what's your mindset? Your mindset is what about this idea you have? And then you said, and what part of your genius applies to that idea? And then mine was, let's get this idea started. Come on, with the crack of the whip.
Yeah.
Which is certainly my style and your styles. And I just thought it was seamless. I thought that it was just surprisingly went way better. Like you'd have thought we'd been doing them for a long time. And I thought that the people we had were blown away. I mean, I think their hair was even like blowing back. It's like,
For sure.
what?
And the idea that kind of came to mind, just kind of as you're just speaking right now, I apologize for spacing out, was I could see us doing that one once a month.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's, as we start creating these workshops, the other ones we also do once a month. So like the second Wednesday, we're doing the 3 simple steps to start a business. The third Wednesday, we're doing how to develop your small business. The fourth Wednesday, we're doing how to do a mastermind, and and so on. So
Yeah, how to do a radio show.
yeah.
These radio shows are a blast, and you talk about a way to help further your own thinking. It's listening to other people talk about it, and hopefully we ask enough questions so that the listeners can be reflecting on their own ideas about things. And that's how I think learning happens, and that's how I think we get better and better and offer quality life to people around us.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought it went really well. I thought that, how did you like the questioning when my you poor thing?
That was why you are a professional at putting people on the spot. That's for sure. Even though it was my own fault for volunteering. If the military taught me anything, it's don't volunteer. But
Sucker.
yeah. But that was definitely interesting. I mean, it was actually a blessing, really. I mean, as much as it was really uncomfortable, like putting, this is the goal right there in the middle. And then, this is why I want to accomplish that goal. And this is how I accomplish that goal. And it just, like you said, it really put into perspective really just cut out the BS. And it was just like, okay, this is, if you really want to do it, this is how you do it.
Yeah,
And and now that that's in front of you, it really makes you ask yourself, is this something you really want to do?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you find out it really isn't, it would have fizzled out and wasted more of your time. But if you do an exercise like that, you can see. And what I saw was you got even more excited about it.
Yeah.
And you already have the first one ready. I mean, wow, that's just amazing, John. And I mean, also seeing the power of team, the power of leveraging other people into your cause, and just letting everyone be a part of something great. It's a real benefit. I thought your idea was great. Now I have to admit, I was a little more tough with you because I knew that we could get a good result. Oh my God, you're amazing. No wonder you have so many businesses. You're a natural businessman.
Yeah.
It's like
it's just in me. I certainly I tell people, Home Community Services, the newest social service organization we created, is the 46th organization I created.
oh my gosh.
I know.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah, well, we keep it
Congrats.
moving. Well, this is the Making College Come True radio show, brought to you by Tucson International Academy, the 45th venture that I got into. We'll see you next week. You guys have a good week. I'm Pastor John McClain. That's Dr. Jennifer Herrera.
See you next week.